This week in the NFL, they announced the Pro Bowl rosters.
Yep.
And I'm going to first name the NFC side of things.
Okay.
And tell me, who do you think was snubbed from the NFC side of things? Because we're going to talk about who's snubbed. We're not going to react to the roster itself. NFC side, the offense: Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Dalvin Cook. Fullback Kyle Juszczyk. Wide receiver Devonta Adams, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel. Tight end George Kittle, Kyle Pitts. Tackle Tyron Smith, Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs. At guard, Ali Marpet, Zach Martin, Brandon Scherf, who's going to be a future Jet. And at center, Ryan Jensen and Jason Kelsey. On the offensive side, who was snubbed in the NFC?
Easily Matthew Stafford. Number 2 in total touchdowns, number 3 in yards. It's inexcusable that he didn't make the Pro Bowl. But the guys you listed, they're all solid names, obviously. Tom Brady, who is it? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. You could make the argument over Kyler Murray, but fans absolutely love Kyler Murray, me being one of them. Kyler Murray's one of my favorite players. He should
have been over Kyler Murray.
He should have.
He missed too much time for him to be, to make the roster. I know he's not the starter. I'm assuming Tom Brady is the starter.
Yeah. Have they announced the alternatives? I think
they did. They announced some.
Because I saw a couple Jets were on it.
I was going to say, Simmons and Surtain were both.
Yeah, Surtain, I saw that too. He could have arguably gotten that too.
Simmons should have gotten the nod.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
We're going to talk about that in the AFC. But Stafford's been excellent this season. And regardless of how you want to look at it, his team is tied for number 1 in the division. He has the numbers for it as well. And Kyler has missed time, so easily he should.
Yeah, I agree. Stafford definitely should have been on there. Kyler, if Kyler would have stayed healthy, then it's really no argument. He was arguably being the best quarterback in the NFL pre-injury. Since he's come back, he's kind of come back down to earth, especially completion percentage-wise. I don't know if he's 100% healthy. I mean, we've said it, the same thing last year happened. This is 2 years in a row where Kyler, amazing first half of the season, gets banged up. Second half, it really hasn't been the same. I mean, when you just look at the per game, because you obviously can't take the totality of the stats because of all the missed games, but Matt Stafford has more completions per game, yards per game, touchdowns per game, and less interceptions per game with the higher quarterback rating. So, I mean, just in terms of statistics, he just beat Kyler. I know that's not going to go into it. And it's a fan vote, so it's really hard to really say.
I think it's 1/3 of the vote is fan vote.
Oh, really? I thought it was primarily fan.
It was 1/3 of the vote counts as fan vote.
Did you say Cordell Patterson made it?
No,
I thought he was left off.
That was my
James Conner. James Conner made it.
That was the name I was going to bring
up. I'll give James Conner because James Conner's number 2 in touchdowns this year. So I'm fine with James Conner because he had the production. Alvin missed 4 games. Yeah. Cordero is I think he's the fifth in scrimmage yards. 5th highest total for combined rushing and receiving. That's inexcusable.
And that offense, what would that offense be without Cordell Patterson? And you mentioned Kyle Pitts, who's having, for a tight end, rookie tight ends, we've known year after year, they really don't come in and dominate. It's really that third year where tight ends usually take off. I'm expecting a much better year 2, just because of the athlete, 4th overall pick. Kyle Pitts is a very special type of tight end. But even him seeing that, but you look at the rest of the landscape, who should get in? Dalton Schultz?
Oh, Kyle Pitts deserved it.
I know.
Hawkinson's been pretty solid.
Only other person is Dallas Goedert, bro.
And even still, he's come on later in the season after Ertz got traded.
Kyle Pitts is at 800+ yards right now. He can get 1,000 as a rookie.
I know. And it's impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's not like Kyle Pitts is coming in and dominating. Cordell Patterson, who's been a journeyman for 10 years, is the focal point of this offense. Not saying that Kyle Pitts should be as a rookie, but I was expecting just a little bit more. He hasn't got the touchdowns. He has 1 touchdown all season. I expect that to change next year.
On the offensive side, I agree with you guys. I think Stafford and Cordell Patterson were definitely snubbed from the Pro Bowl. I would remove James Conner, though, not Kamara. I know that James Conner has the touchdowns.
He looks so good this year.
He looks amazing, receiving really and rushing the football.
I know he has the touchdowns, but I don't know, man. I can't take out Kamara. But I can't.
I understand the logic between it. He's missed 4 games. That alone should just take you out of the conversation.
And Matthew Stafford...
Kyler?
Again, but I'm keeping consistent with it, too.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
And Matthew Stafford over Kyler for me. Now on defense, Nick Bosa, Cameron Jordan, Brian Burns, defensive ends. Defensive tackle, Aaron Donald, Kenny Clark, Jonathan Allen. Outside linebacker, Shaquille Barrett, Chandler Jones, Robert Quinn. Inside linebackers, Micah Parsons, Bobby Wagner. And corners, Trayvon Diggs, Marshawn Lattimore, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay. And at free safety, Quadre Diggs. Now on Twitter, there was a big deal made out of A.J. Terrell not making the Pro Bowl.
That's the biggest one.
But my question is, who are you taking out for A.J. Terrell? I've heard Trayvon Diggs. You can't take out the guy who has 10 interceptions, 10+ interceptions this season. You can't take him out. So A.J. Terrell can't go over him. You can't take out Jalen Ramsey either.
Hell no.
Marshawn Lattimore has been damn good this year.
Amazing.
I don't know if I could take him out for Terrell. It's between Darius Slay and AJ Terrell.
Yeah.
And I think Darius Slay has made more game-changing plays than AJ Terrell
Big play
in terms of intercepting the ball. Because how many interceptions does AJ Terrell have on the season?
The one big one that comes out was against Denver. That ridiculous. It was a fumble, I want to say, though. Right? It wasn't an interception. But still, that was one of the most impressive plays we've seen all season. I think the biggest name that sticks out that didn't make it was Devonta Campbell, though. I mean, he's arguably the best linebacker, inside linebacker in the league this year, and he somehow didn't make the Pro Bowl roster. A lot of these, though, it's just like we said, 1/3 is the fan vote, so a lot of it's just going to be, what names do you know more than like the actual play on the field.
That's facts.
Especially for defense, where offense, it's a lot easier to look at yards, touchdowns. It's a lot easier on offense to see if a receiver is good compared to a linebacker or if a corner is good. So that's just another thing you have to take into when you're looking at these Pro Bowl votes.
AJ Terrell has 2 interceptions on the year. Slay has 3. He has 9 passes defended. Terrell has 14.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So
it's close.
Yeah,
it's close.
If someone was gonna be left out from the cornerback group in the NFC, it's Darius Slay for AJ Terrell.
People saying Trayvon Diggs is so disrespectful.
Yeah,
it is.
Because he lets up
Trayvon
yards.
Diggs is doing something historic right now. That
10
shouldn't even be a
interceptions is
debate.
nuts.
Yeah.
The record's 14.
Was it Night Train?
Yes,
Yeah.
14.
I think
Like
Trayvon has
ways.
11.
No, he has 10.
He has 10
10.
Yeah,
flat.
the
10
10th
flat.
against the Giants
there.
last week.
Yeah.
Facts.
Wow. That is amazing. For me,
I didn't hate the defensive list other than AJ Terrell.
I hated some of it.
Yeah?
I think
I thought Campbell was a huge
facts.
snub.
That's a fact.
here are my snubs on the defensive side. I think Marcus Davenport should have gotten in over Brian Burns. I think Marcus Davenport has been playing better than Brian Burns all season. I think Rashawn Gary should have got in over Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn, I know he's a fine defensive player, but Rashawn Gary, in the absence of Darius Smith, has really stepped up this year. And Devandra Campbell, like you mentioned, Micah Parsons deserved it. Bobby Wagner, he's having a fantastic year, but Bobby Wagner got in because of name brand recognition. He's not having a better year than Devondra Campbell this year. Devondra Campbell has been a top 3 linebacker this season. And another guy that, I think was snubbed was AJ Terrell, and that's probably it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a safety because Quadre Diggs, I know he's a good player, but when I watch Quadre Diggs play, I don't really look at a Pro Bowl player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what other free safeties were in the NFC that he got in at free safety.
I really don't watch much Seahawks football other than I just saw him get an interception against Matthew Stafford.
It definitely wasn't Jamal, I'll tell you that. You
no,
already know that.
No, facts though. But Jamal's strong. He's free.
Yeah, that's true. He's a linebacker, let's be honest.
Who, Jamal?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you got no other snubs for the NFC.
No.
So on to the AFC.
I didn't hate it, honestly.
Offense, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Ricard, Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Orlando Brown, Deion Dawkins, Rashawn Slater, Joel Bitonio, Quentin Nelson, Wyatt Teller, Ryan Kelly, and Corey Linsley. Who was snubbed on the offensive side?
I think one of the biggest ones, receiver, was Deontay. I thought Deontay should have got in probably over Keenan. He has 6 less receptions than Keenan, but he has more yards, more touchdowns, more yards after the catch. He's actually 8th in the NFL in yards after the catch. And he also has 6 broken tackles, which is honestly kind of surprised me. I always thought as Deontay is more of a speed guy, but he showed that he's, we think of the first person that comes to mind is A.J. Brown in terms of like toughness after the catch. And Keenan Allen only has 1 broken tackle on the season, which surprised me.
Stephon Diggs has better stats than Keenan Allen?
No, he does. He has more touchdowns. He doesn't have more yards, but he has more yards per reception.
The guy that I would have taken out Stephon Diggs for Deontay Johnson.
Okay. And
I feel like
Keenan also
actually
has 6 drops, which is like top 10 in the league. We know for him being short-handed, and that's really regressed this season.
Deontay has 1 more target, but Keenan Allen has 6 more receptions. Deontay has more yards,
and touchdowns.
more yards per reception. His longest reception is longer, but that's really irrelevant. Has 1 more touchdown.
Yeah.
It's really close, but you're not too far off with
That's
Diggs.
true. Yeah.
Diggs, he has 4 more catches. He has, quick maths, 7 more targets. He has more yards than he does.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs' yards per reception is 0.3 higher than Deontay's, and he has 2 more touchdowns.
Keenan
than
also
Deontay.
really came along since the bye week because earlier in the year he was not playing that well.
Yeah.
Mike Williams was the focal point in that
that's true.
passing offense, and Deontay's been really consistent all year.
The 2 guys that were snubbed from the AFC Pro Bowl, Joe Burrow. He should have been over Lamar Jackson.
For sure.
I know that Lamar Jackson carries the Ravens, but Joe Burrow has been better this year than Lamar. It is what it is. And Jeffrey Simmons. I'm looking at the list right here. Chris Jones, I think, has been better than Jeffrey Simmons, even though he's missed some time. Cameron Hayward as well. DeForest Buckner has not been better than Jeffrey Simmons this year.
Not at all.
Jeffrey Simmons should have been in the Pro Bowl over DeForest Buckner. Those are my two snubs right there.
The one thing I would say is Burrow has 14 interceptions. That's the one thing. He leads the league in interceptions. That's the one thing that holds me back because Lamar hasn't had a good statistical season. And even the second half of the year, it seems like he has regressed. Now he has this ankle injury. So that's the only thing I push back on. But the one we didn't mention was Austin Eckler as well.
There we go.
I thought he could probably get in over Joe Mixon. He has he's sixth in total scrimmage yards, fourth in rushing touchdowns, second in total touchdowns, just behind Jonathan Taylor. The only thing Mixon has in him is just more rushing yards, which is expected. Mixon is the workhorse back who's going to get 20, 25 touches each week, so it doesn't surprise me.
I was going to say, for Joe Burrow, I wish we could keep track of how many interceptions were tip passes, because the one that sticks out crystal clear to me is the one that he has over the top to Jamar, has a touchdown, but instead Jamar fumbles it, goes into the defender's hands.
Yeah.
And then Austin Eckler, 100%, I agree. Joe Mixon's having a great season, and it was a matter of time until he got his respect, but Austin Eckler has been doing everything for the Chargers this season.
Man, I like Austin Eckler a lot. I'm not sure if I could put him over Joe Mixon, though. That's a tough call for me.
They're both great.
Chubb, you can't. Jonathan Taylor is he's the best player in football for skill positions this season.
But Nick Chubb, how many games has he missed?
I think he's only missed 2.
Yeah.
I think he's only missed 2.
But the last few games, he's been struggling, really.
And Dearness Johnson, he came in and had a fantastic game.
That line is solid.
Yeah,
anyone who's going to rush behind that line is going to be great. However, when Nick Chubb is back there, he's the best player on the team.
I gave one of my defensive subs already, so I'll just talk about the defense real quick. Defensive side, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson made it. DeForest Buckner, Cameron Hayward, and Chris Jones, Joey Bosa, Matt Judon, TJ Watt, Darius Leonard, Denzel Perriman, Xavier Howard, JC Jackson, Kenny Moore, Denzel Ward, Kevin Byard, Derwin James, and Tyrann Mathieu.
A solid list.
I'll tell you what, the only ones I have an issue with, Justin Simmons not making it hurts me.
Facts.
Kevin Byard has been great this season. I just think Justin Simmons is...
He hasn't been better. Byard's been great.
Byard
has been better.
But it's not like Simmons has been a slouch. That being said, I had obviously Justin Simmons as my guy. He has more sacks than DeForest Buckner, more tackles than DeForest Buckner. I feel like he right now is probably the third best.
Jeffrey,
excuse me. What did I say? Isaiah?
Justin.
Justin?
Yeah.
Because I'm just talking about my guy. That being said, he's been spectacular this year. I'm thinking that he might have gotten the nod. And Pat Surtain has been locked up to the point where Justin says that he completely leaves that side of the field just for him. He has no doubt that he's going to lock that side up. It would have been tough to get rid of some guys. However, you could make the debate that Denzel Ward should not have made it over.
I was going to say Kenny Moore.
Kenny Moore's been solid this season.
Yeah, he's been solid. He has a lot of interceptions too.
He has as many tackles as he's had last season already this season. He has 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
He's been good, but Surtain has been great as well.